Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Val. It is mid-November, and it's time. Unfortunately, it's time to shut down the garden. Um, it's getting cold at night now, and things are not looking great. You can see some of the herbs; they're done pretty much. There's some that I'm gonna snip the rest of them and dry them today. But today is a big day. Pulling up everything that I can harvest, pulling up anything else that I can't. Um, and I'm going to cut back all the perennials on the in the pollinator garden. I'm going to try to get as much done today as I can. It was raining all day yesterday, so today's like the perfect day to do it. It's going to be a high of 9 right now. It's about 5, hence the sweater that I'm wearing. What time is it now? It's quarter past 9 in the morning. But it's going to be a big work day. I'll bring you along. I'll give you an overview of what my plan is of doing today. And then I'll just give updates throughout the day. It's going to be a beautiful day to be outside. So let's get to it. Okay, I am standing in the veggie garden. Give you a quick tour of what my plan is today. The only thing I'm pulling out of the blueberry bed is the marigold, because that's not going to hang on much longer. We're going to I think it's going down to 2 degrees Celsius. I think that's tonight. Anyway, I'm going to pull that out. The raspberries, I am not doing anything, although we've been harvesting like the odd raspberry off these bushes. I'm going to have one right now. I don't know why. I don't know why this one decided to produce now. It's a heritage. Look at that. There's still a bunch on there. So I'm not doing anything to this, other than enjoying whatever raspberries it's got left to give us. This one is a different variety, and that one's done. Do I have anything else in there? No. The tomatoes are done. I've already pulled those out, so I'm not doing anything there. This is the garlic bed. Also not doing anything here. What do we got over here? Here I pulled the carrots. These were the spring carrots that I sowed at the end of May. And then these were the carrots I sowed, I think it was July or August. They're a little slow, but I feel like just leaving them there and seeing what happens to them over the winter, because they're obviously not going to grow to their full size before the cold weather hits. So I feel like I'm just going to leave those there. That bed is empty, so nothing to do there. My peas got nailed by the wind. We had the remnants of Hurricane Melissa's winds last week sometime. So, and these guys fell. I could have tried to stick them back up there, but I didn't bother. There are peas on here though. There's lots of blooms. I don't know if they're going to survive the frost. I'm almost tempted to just leave these there and just go with the flow. You can see my trellis took the brunt. Let me go back so you can see it. Oof, the sun is really bright. It's tilting forward just because of the winds, and like the peas were acting like a sail almost, and it just leaned everything forward. Anyway, what I've been doing in the meantime, just to somewhat help them along, they're still alive, and I've just been leaning them on this bed like that instead of trying to stick them back up to the trellis. Anyway, it's all good. It's the end of the season. You get to a point where it's like I'm almost there, you guys. Like I'm done. I'm done for the season. It's cold now when I'm out here doing anything, so I think I'm gonna call it quits. These were the onions that never bulbed up. I pulled a couple of them out just to see, and they were tiny. They were bigger than an onion set when I first planted them. And we'll use them. We'll use them like shallots, like we'll use them like little onions and eat them anyway. That's all good. So I'm pulling all of this up today. I'm going to pull up the rest of the green onions and chop them up and pop them into the freezer. I'll pull up the marigold, but I'm going to leave the leeks in over the winter. These are all the little leeks there, and we'll see how they do. So that'll be an experiment. I will be harvesting all of the lettuce. So this is romaine lettuce. They didn't grow to a very large size, but all of these leaves are edible. This is a garlic that decided to sprout now that I planted last fall. So I'm kind of tempted to leave it there and see what happens, but we'll see. I'll see once I get to this bed what strikes me. This is all butter crunch. I'm going to harvest all of this. We'll be able to eat all of that. There was some sorrel. Not all of it came up. There's some there. So I might just harvest that, add it to a salad, and we'll eat that. My kale bok choy did not do well again. This was the bed that had the potatoes, which had a soil issue. Same with the onions. So maybe I was a little optimistic to see if I can get anything else out of this bed this year, but it is what it is. So I'm probably I might just leave them there. They're not harming anything. It's not like I have anything to plant in there over the winter, but I'll pull up the marigold just to clean things up. I will be cutting back or just cleaning up the strawberry bed just to make sure that it's, all the dead is gone. I'm cutting, and this one, we have to prune them a couple of inches, 1.5 inches above the crowns. So I'll do that, take off all the netting, all of that stuff. And then these are the blackberries, which we got a few off of this bush this year. But that's it. And then this one, it has fruit on it, but it's obviously not going to make it in time before the frosts hit. And then I'll pull up, obviously, this marigold, this right here. And then all of my my tapes and my contraptions for bird deterrence. I'll pull up all of that. And then in terms of the fruit trees, I don't think there's anything we have to do here. We did all of it already. We added mulch to each of the trees. So these are ready to go for the winter. Our repair, let me take a look at it, show you. We had a branch that broke and then we repaired it. We were going to switch the tape. We used electrical tape and just attached it. This whole branch broke, but it was still attached. So we just taped it and it's still alive. Everything was fine. It didn't die. So we'll see what happens over the winter. This was the plum tree that had like 4 or 5 different plums on it. 4, I think. So that'll be interesting. And then the nectarine was okay. Everybody else was fine. This is the peach tree that we got a bunch of peaches on this summer. That was so rewarding. They were so good. The fruit was small, but it was good. I might take down, all my little, all my deterrents here. Not that they're harming anything, but I don't want them flying around in the forest in the winter if they do get detached because they're plastic. I don't want that lying around. It's not like it's going to decompose. All right, and everything else is good. And then our little rhubarb plant is here. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? I don't even know. I can't see it, but it's down to the ground now. So I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to step over there. I have to crush it. And everything else is good. Yeah, you can see here how they're leaning, how the peas are leaning. The trellis just kept blowing, and then this obviously knocked some peas down, but it's okay. We got quite a few of them, actually. Quite a few peas, and there's still a lot on there, but I just don't know if they're going to survive the cool nights that are coming. We'll see. All right. I'm going to start. I've got all my gear over here. I have my harvest bowl, my gloves, my snips, what are these things called? Pruners. This is what I've got. Got the yard waste bag. And we're ready to go. So I'm starting back here. The other thing I need to do today is deal with the herbs. So I've been harvesting and drying as much as I can. I'll probably do one last pass and then pull up everything. Anything that's not going to be coming back next year, I'll pull them up. And then I wanted to do cutting back all the perennials on the side of the pollinator garden. And I'll give you a peek at the clover. It's been germinating, which is awesome, in those little spots that we reseeded a few weeks ago. So that's exciting. All right, I'm going to get going. I'll give you updates throughout the day. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm done in the back garden. So I didn't do anything here other than pulling up the marigold, the strawberries I cleaned up. I took off all the netting and the poles and the clips and everything, and I just cut back a little bit just to clean things up. There were a lot of runners. There were a lot of little baby plants that grew, that rooted. I didn't do anything. I didn't do that deliberately, but I did leave the babies there because why not? So that's done. I left the kale and bok choy. I don't think they're going to grow, but I'm going to leave them there. I pulled up all the lettuce and the marigold. That's gone. That's the harvest. I'll get back to that in a second. I left the leeks in, but I pulled up all the green onion. This bed, there were little tiny seedlings of lettuces. I took some of the larger ones. I harvested those, and then the rest I just turned under. I harvested the onions. Now there's not many that bulbed up there, but I'll show you what they look like. I was actually pleasantly surprised. It wasn't as bad as I thought. There was nothing. This, I didn't do anything in the carrots. This, what was in here? Oh yeah, the garlic's in here. So I'm not going to do anything to that. I left the peas in because there's peas there. They're still producing. So I'm just going to let them go until they're done. And that's pretty much it. I harvested some more raspberries, and there's still some on there. So I'm just going to let them do their thing. Crazy. It's mid-November, and we've still got raspberries producing. It's wild. Anyway, I'll let them go. So that's pretty much it. Oh, let's go check out the harvest. So this is the little bowl. So we've got, there's some raspberries in there, some peas. I picked peas yesterday, so there's not that many today. And like the remnants of the, of the sorrel. And then, don't mind the dirt. I'll clean everything up, obviously. This was all the lettuce that was there. They're small heads, but we're going to eat it. It's totally fine. These are the red onions, and some of them actually, well, that's much, much smaller than what they're supposed to be. But there's some. So I'll be able to use these. There was a lot that were mushy. These are all hard, so that's good. These are all the green onions, and these are all the yellow onions. And here too, I was pleasantly surprised that we actually got, obviously small, but edible, and they're all hard, so I'm going to be able to eat those. So that's good. All right, we're done in the back. Next step is cutting back the herbs and all the perennials in the pollinator garden. So I will meet you over there. Okay, update on the pollinator garden. I basically cut back everything to the ground except for the butterfly bush, the two of them, just because they still have some blooms on them, and there was a little honeybee sticking around. So I'm going to leave it until they die off on their own. But everything else, like this was the nepeta, down to the ground. Same thing for all the salvia. Oh, I forgot. I have to cut this guy. I have to cut the aster. I missed one. So I left the other buddleia, the butterfly bush. I left it alone. Everything else has been cut back to the ground. The baptisia's cut, echinacea's cut, salvia. And I like to leave like a little bit just so that I know where they are. Like this was the baptisia. I leave a little bit. All of this will be dead by the spring, and you'll see the new shoots coming up. But just to let me know that that's where it's planted for my own knowledge. This little butterfly bush didn't grow big as much as the other ones, so I pruned off all the blooms that were there. They were spent. Oh, all right. So that's another job done. This area actually filled in really nicely, and it was the first year. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like next year. All right. Next job, the herbs on the deck. Okay, last job of the day is done. We cut back all of the herbs. The only ones I'm actually going to leave, the ones that are coming back next year, are chamomile. So I'm leaving that there. The rosemary, some people have had success with it coming back next year. It's my first time growing it, so I don't know. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to leave it. The two basils won't. So that's fine. The thyme also should come back next year. Parsley, it can, but the second year is it blooms and produces seed. It's what is it? Biannual? Whatever it is. So I usually just treat it as an annual and plant new every year. So that I'm going to pull up eventually. The borage, I'm not going to grow that again. I didn't really do anything with it. It was pretty, and the bees liked it, but I have a whole pollinator garden for the bees, so that seems redundant. The mint and the lemon balm should come back next year. What was this? What was this? What was that? Let me smell it. Oh, chives. So chives, I basically cut most of them and then chop them up and put them in the freezer. And that should come back next year. So I'm going to leave that one out. This was the Thai basil. That won't come back next year. And this is a ceramic pot, so I'll have to bring that into the garage. And this was my accidental second batch of parsley, which it's in a ceramic pot. I've got the pot inside, and I'm not gonna leave that. I'm not gonna let the parsley come back for a year or two. Okay, so Let me come over here and show you what we've got. So the only thing that I basically harvested all the parsley. I'll bring that inside. I sense a big batch of tabbouleh in my future, which is that parsley salad. And then this was the harvest from earlier with the onions and all the little things, the raspberries, peas, and whatnot. All the onions, green onions, red and yellow, and all the different lettuces. I think we're done. Oh yeah, and I pulled up, oh my shadow. This was the tomato plant that was on the deck, so I just cut that back. I'll let the roots stay in the pot. That's what I typically do for most of these. Anything that doesn't come back, I just cut it at the base and then just leave the roots in there just to return to the soil. And then my columbine. This was grown from seed, from seeds that I had harvested from my plant at the old house 2 years ago. It came back. I think I'm going to leave it in this pot and see what happens. I don't really have a place for it in the landscape yet. It'll probably be next year. So I'm going to leave it in there and we'll see what happens. We'll see if it comes back. But that is it. Now I just have to clean up after myself and then call it a day. So the only things left are the peas. Everything else is done, and whatever raspberries still ripen before the frost takes it. So the peas, and then I have to cut back, or at least trim off the spent blooms on the 2 butterfly bushes, but everything else is done. And my 2 mums, I have 2 mums on my front patio in pots that are still surviving. They probably have another week left, and then I'm going to start preparing for my winter pots with the greeneries and all of the festive stuff. That was a good job done. What time is it now? Let me check. 11:45. So that took about 9:15, 10, 11, 2.5 hours to do all of that. It's pretty good. Beautiful day. Super bright and sunny today. And no wind, so it was a really good day to do all this. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're either you've completed your garden, you're in the middle of cleaning up and closing things down, and now the best season starts is planning for next year. Happy gardening, everybody.